So today we begin with major changes imminent. Timberwolves going all in. So look, after getting blown out at home in Game 6, it's pretty clear that A-Rod, Tim Connelly, and of course head coach Chris Finch need to be focused on making some major changes. That is, if this organization at this point is absolutely serious about winning a championship. And I actually believe they are. Welcome back to the Timberwolves Digest. As always, North America, I am Dave Dabbah, and I bring you daily Minnesota Timberwolves news, trade reports, trade rumors, and of course, a lot of commentary. Look, I know it is a tough day. It's always tough the day after a season ends. But I did want to get a quick pod out today, and I hope that you all will actually respond to this. Now, we've got Giannis rumors, which have already begun. That's one of the topics on the Timberwolves Digest. Plus, I wanted to give you all an opportunity to vent. We've got a new segment on the Timberwolves Digest, a little something that I like to call the vent, and I also have a segment for you on saying goodbye to Julius. Look, if you are new to the Timberwolves Digest, please go ahead and subscribe. So we are going to get into the Giannis topic in just a little bit, and the rumors are everywhere at this point, and I guess if you look at this Timberwolves roster, it does make a lot of sense. So we will dive into those rumors in just a second. But before we do that, I wanted to put a bow, if you will, on this particular season that just ended. And I wanted to get the vent going. Now, this is all about you, the Minnesota Timberwolves fans, or just fans of the National Basketball Association, as well if you happened to pop along into the Timberwolves Digest. But I want to hear you vent. I want to know what your biggest complaints are about this Minnesota Timberwolves team. Now, I know some of you out there are going to be calling for head coach Chris Finch's head. I also know a lot of you out there are going to be requesting that Julius Randle never, ever puts on a Minnesota Timberwolves jersey again. There are all sorts of things for us to vent about after getting blown away in Game 6. Look, for me personally, losing Game 6 is one thing, but getting absolutely destroyed at home is a whole other thing. Clearly, if this organization, and as I said in the opening, I believe they are serious about winning a championship, are going to have to make some major changes. You do not want to squander the prime years of Anthony Edwards with a, if you will, a cheap rebuild. Look, something major does need to be done. We will talk about the possibility of Giannis, but this isn't about me. I want to know what your thoughts and opinions are. Drop them in. We will do a mailbag next week as well. So we'll read your comments on the air. Super quick, I wanted to just give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors. We've actually got a couple sponsors now, but I wanted to put a special shout out to the good folks over at Prize Picks. That's right, Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app. And quite frankly, the best way to get in on the action. Now, look, check out the link in the description, code DIGEST, and sign up today. I am supposed to tell you all that it does totally help the channel out. Now, in terms of the Giannis rumors, and we all know these rumors are going to pop up every 2 or 3 days until Giannis actually decides to get together once again with the Milwaukee Bucks organization and not do anything. For those of you that are new to the Timberwolves Digest, I like to call Giannis Mount St. Giannis. He is the volcano that, quite frankly, threatens to erupt but never actually does erupt. I will be amazed if Giannis actually does end up on another team just based on Giannis's and his agent's track record. That being said, John Krasinski of The Athletic wrote that as you can see here, that the Timberwolves are expected to re-engage in a Giannis conversation. And I think we all know that, of course, Julius Randle was never the same after the rumors actually tipped off. So look, I would love to know what you think. Should the Wolves at this point go ahead and make a move for Giannis? Now, in order to do that, they're going to have to part ways with, of course, Julius Randle's contract, and they might actually have to part ways with Rudy Gobert as well to make a Giannis deal happen. Now, look, I think there are a lot of holes on this Minnesota Timberwolves team, and over the next couple days, we'll get into what Chris Finch said after the Game 6 loss and the end of the season for the Timberwolves. So we'll cover that another day. But I think when I think of Giannis possibly being a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves, I certainly think it would be an interesting thing. Now, he is starting from an injury perspective to ski down the backside of Career Mountain just a little bit. But what are your thoughts on Giannis possibly becoming a member of the Timberwolves? Please go ahead and drop your comments in. And finally, on the Timberwolves Digest today, and remember, this is the Event Digest, so go ahead, get your Julius Randle complaints in. I'd love to give something to the 100th Julius Randle complaint to figure out what that is. But if you are the 100th person to complain about Julius Randle, we'll figure out how to get you something for that. And we'll also read your Julius Randle complaint on a future Timberwolves Digest as well. Look, I think it's pretty clear at this point that Julius is not Robin to Ant-Man's Batman. I think we were way better off with what the Cat could do from that particular position on the court. I think if the Cat were here, things could have been different. Clearly, I love Dante DiVincenzo and everything that he does, especially when he's hot. But at this point, it's pretty clear that the Knicks actually won this particular trade. Drop your comments in, North America. I want to know what your thoughts and opinions are. What other comments do you have or complaints do you have about this Minnesota Timberwolves team and this particular series? Look, Wemby is Wemby, but you do have to have enough depth in order to win a championship. And I think it's pretty clear that we did not. And certainly Julius Randle was a big letdown. Drop your comments in. That's all I've got for you today. If you are once again new to the Timberwolves Digest, please go ahead and subscribe for the Timberwolves Digest. I am Dave Dabbah, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.